SwissBorg is the official partner of my channel where you can buy, sell, hold and more importantly stake your cryptocurrencies. You can even earn yield on your stablecoins. Sign up with my link and you'll earn up to $100 worth of their native token CHSB just for depositing €50 worth of crypto. SwissBorg. Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's get started. We'll look at Bitcoin and just Dixie. There's no need to beat around the bush too much. In fact, I'll tell you what I'll also show you as well, which is Ethereum to Bitcoin. We were looking at this last night on the live stream on my old computer. You know, I finally got rid of my 13-year-old PC. That's right. I was rocking a 13-year-old PC. It was a good time. Yeah, we had good times. We did a lot together, and now it's time to say goodbye. And before you say anything, it was a good computer, alright? It was an i7 980X, or whatever we want to call that. It was a first generation hex core. It was awesome, alright? So, yeah, the age, you know, it's just a number until 2023, where it actually becomes, yeah, pretty, I suppose, a bit more relevant. So, yeah, that's it. Unfortunately, it's got to go now. So, let's get started on Bitcoin, shall we? Bitcoin coming down to this intermediate range, bottom of the Bollinger Band, and roughly around 26,600, 700-ish area, where we were basically sort of dancing around previously. There was a few wicks around that level, and if anything, I think we sort of dip into that before we sort of bounce back up. And I'm not talking bounce back up and reversal. I'm talking bounce up to maybe a retest of the 200 exponential on this 4 hourly around 28,000 or just short of that. And that is basically all I'd really be expecting from Bitcoin at this point now. There is a chance that we start to, well, should I say start, we continue to consolidate on Bitcoin's move. It's 100% rally from the bottom to the top. And that would be perfectly fine. The volume is still very low on Bitcoin. It's been low for a whole month now or more. You can see the dramatic difference tailing off here with basically not a great deal's going on. So the way I see it is that this is very much like the beginning of a bull market. Early investors who are in it for the long haul for the most part. And, you know, allocating decent positions in the 20,000s for what is likely to be a serious run by 2025 up to new all-time highs and beyond. So that seems reasonable. And now basically what we're seeing is a tailing off because the buyers have bought and some sellers are selling. It's just consolidating and we'll probably continue to consolidate unless, of course, we can reclaim the 28,000, which would all it would really take is just a little bit above 28,000 to probably make its way back up into the 30s and make another high, another local high. The money flow index has reset for the most part. And the RSI also. So I'm not saying that it can't make big moves up. It can, but I'll show you something. We always look at the euro, don't we? But today we're just going to look at the Dixie, which is basically the euro in reverse. And the Dixie continued with its rally, if you want to call it a rally. Its uptrend, and its uptrend seems to be strengthening at this point now. Now if we go to the 4 hourly. We can see the golden cross is now formed. That would also see that the death cross on the euro has formed. We're crossing up above the 0 point now. This is all looking very nice for a continuation on the dollar's move. The next stop is going to be just in the 103 zones and probably, to be honest with you, towards the 105s. This is going to probably, I say they would probably, but it probably will. It's most likely going to cause continuation of consolidation in traditional markets. However, that is not always the case. It's not always the case at all. But the dollar has been down for quite a while. Someone told you where the top was. Yeah, it was me. I told you. And we've done pretty well after all of that. So it's been a good little run down. And to be fair with you, on the higher term timeframes, like a weekly, you know, there's a lot of resistance around this 103, so we might even just see a rejection from there and continuation back down below 100. Much is to be seen. This is still a significant downtrend for the dollar, and we can change general bias for what could be a longer period of time with closures above 103.5. And aim to probably make our way up to 105 to 106 and then get a rejection from there, see what happens. It's just a trending market, okay? It's not the end of the world. So we'll finally just finish with Ethereum to Bitcoin, and we were looking at this yesterday on on the Patreon live stream, recognized that there was a golden cross and a retest of that on the short-term time frames, with basically a very casual uptrend forming. So it's just notable. It's not anything to get too excited about. But if Ethereum is generally stronger than Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's consolidating, there is evidence enough to say that, okay, if this is where it's going to go, altcoins might not get as thrashed as you expect them to be, at least at the time being, in a Bitcoin downtrend. But with my expectation is that we see a little pullback on the dollar before we start to move back up into the 103s to 105s. Then that would mean upside across the board for everybody. And if we've got a support on Bitcoin, which is teetering down here at the 26,600, 26,700, if that's where we're looking for a bounce to take place, the bounce could be pretty reasonable. And if we're looking for it to move up towards 28,000, which is generally where I expect it to go, that's not a bad move on Bitcoin alone. That would be around a 4% move. You accentuate that for altcoins, we could see moves, above between 5 and 20% for some of these altcoins, based on what we see with Ethereum's chart. Remember, that is not a call. That is one way to interpret what's going to happen in the short term. It's still actually a preference of mine, but when you hear the word 20%, don't start dribbling into your keyboard and buying any old altcoin that you see. Don't do that at all. Recognize that the charts are all down, and the only clue that we've got is a support based on Bitcoin, which is an intermediate support, and an uptrend on on Ethereum to Bitcoin, giving us clues to say that, all right, whichever way Bitcoin decides to go, maybe altcoins will benefit, or at least Ethereum. And you can use Ethereum as a general indicator or a vibe for the health of majority of altcoins, but no altcoin is created equal. All right. So, just be careful with whatever it is that you do. Personally, that is the way I see it. I think we're going to bounce, move up, then set a new lower high, and then continue to go down, depending on how the Euro and the Dixie obviously behave over this next week, next couple of weeks. So we could be looking at the end of an uptrend now for most things, but not without one last little breath of life back into the charts. Anyway, I'll leave it with you there, but thank you for watching. Hope you have a nice day. Please like and subscribe and send this video to your nan. I'm sure she'd want to see it. Take it easy.